a team effort. Okay, I'm having trouble here. Can you direct me?
And Lindsay, even one thing that I really appreciate about our staff at SMC and what they do, not only in Dowagiac, but in Niles, where I oversee, the Niles people, I can speak on behalf of them more. But not only are they working together with the students, but also the instructors when they come in. We have 2 instructors who like to come into our centers. And then, if the tutor's not quite sure about what to do at a point, and let's say Math 105, which is our intermediate math, they'll go to a tutor and they'll work together with the students. So even, with our whiteboards going all over the place, but, so that's something that, while tutoring, do you work together? It should not only do you work together with the student, which should be number 1, but number 2 is, are you working within the teacher's mode, as in, what does the teacher want? And then are you working with other tutors on staff, because overall it is about teamwork. And that's something that I really appreciate about our staff at both campuses is the coordinators set it up so that there is teamwork not only amongst peers, but amongst each other within staff. So that's something that this could be like that, as in we're all tutors or whatnot, and we kind of work together, but it's something that like I'm writing. So if I don't know anything about math, I gotta go find someone. But so it's kind of like that. That whole thing where I know Jasmine does Math 105. Maybe she gets to the part where, oh, I don't remember that. That's 2 semesters ago, and they changed it. Well, then maybe George comes over and they work together with the student, and then everyone learns.
Definitely. Definitely. I feel like I have my students sometimes show me what they're doing, like, all together. I work with the high school students. They're learning about standard deviation. That was not in my curriculum. This was the first time I had ever heard about it. I didn't even realize we were working with statistics, and I didn't know anything about it. And I don't get to see my students every day, so there's some days during the week where I don't see what they hear in lecture. So I will have them teach me what's going on. Right. And I catch on probably a lot quicker than they do, but that's because I know I'm so familiar with math. It comes naturally to me that it's nice that we have that connection as well. And they know that I'm not perfect, because since I work with high school students, they feel like I am the top lady. They think that I know everything, and letting them know that I am not perfect, it makes them realize how, that I am, human, and I am, I can learn things too.
Oh, you do just like us, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought yours was gold.
Yeah, right? You go to the store? You have a house? What? So,
It's interesting.
and I guess I was wrapping this back around to if any of you have communication issues, because I feel like, for me, they just want to throw something at you. They throw a problem at me and they start asking me questions automatically when I don't even know what's going on yet. And they have trouble communicating to me what they're actually having a question about. They don't know what they need to know, and that's something that I personally work with all the time.
Well, there's students I work with that don't read the directions. They don't even read what's being asked, so they just attempt a problem, and I'm like, well, what are they asking for? And they might do the problem, but then they have to answer the question though. So that just goes back to not only communicating, but just firstly knowing what the objective is.
There's also the issue, I think, when you ask your students to explain it to you, not only do they have to understand what they don't know, they have to identify that, wait a minute, I really don't know what you're talking about. But when they explain it to me, it gives me a better idea of how they're approaching the problems, so that I'm not training them to approach the problem the same way I approach it. They might be coming at it from this direction, and I can get on board to the direction they're approaching it, rather than saying, oh no, you gotta do it the same way I do. That's just ridiculous. I don't know if you're on the agenda. I just kind of wanted to bring up that Play-Doh. I actually do use Play-Doh for tutoring. I tutor mathematics. It's especially handy for the higher level math, like the 3-dimensional calculus, trying to visualize shapes, trying to visualize what's going on. But you can use it for just about any subject. And I challenge anybody to come up with some ideas. We were discussing earlier, how do you use Play-Doh for English, you know, and there are
I
ways
can
to
think
do
of
it. So,
So we were saying sentence structure.
Yeah,
and there's
organizing your
something,
body paragraphs.
you know, it's very tactile, it gets into an area that we're not allowed to use as much, that sense of touch, you know, that there's not a lot we can do with that sometimes in a tutoring session, but I will warn you, some people do have a problem with something like Play-Doh. They don't like the smell of it, or they don't like the feel of it, so before I ever get it out, I always ask, because that can be a problem depending on who you're seeing. Yeah.
One of the things that, right from the beginning, when you asked about the tutoring, I was very interested in how the other colleges explain tutoring at the beginning to their classes, because as I'm thinking, I taught high school for years, and we didn't really have much tutoring in high school. So this is kind of a new arena for college students. So how does the SIs get that word out, or how does the college get the word out about, because, I mean, some of you that are SIs know, it takes a while for students to come. And, you know, maybe there's some new ideas on how to get the word out.
In some cases, it's one of those things that kind of grows, like Ruth, who's our director for SI in LCC, she went so much, she's like, I don't even have to sell the program anymore. In fact, she actually has to turn instructors away.
Okay.
But
we